I'm now sitting here with Hugh Howe. And can you elaborate about the relationship between our schools?
Yes, certainly. I think the first thing to say is that it is a privilege to be here, and it's always nice to visit, to talk, to meet new students and to work through. For the past 9 years, my college in the United Kingdom, in Leicestershire, has had an international student programme. We've invited students with different backgrounds, but probably about the same age range, to attend conferences, and the conferences have taken place in different countries in Europe. In fact, at one point, it also took place in South Africa with a school that we've been working with. And the idea is to get time together with young people to reflect and think about strands to do with leadership. So it might be about leadership development, or it might be about different types of leadership, but to get them to think about themselves as the next generation of leaders. And that is something that we've been immensely proud of. And an opportunity came up and I was invited to come and visit your school, which is why I'm here today.
But can you tell us more about your work in education?
Yes, I'm privileged to be the principal of a school which is very, very successful. The educational landscape, the system in the United Kingdom has changed in the last 4 or 5 years, and has changed politically. It's been driven by politics, and that's not to say that that's good or bad, but that's the reality. And one of the things that has emerged is for schools to become more autonomous, more independent. And indeed, my school, which is a very large, very successful school, also leads a trust. And a trust means that we're able to work very, very closely with other schools. So in fact, I'm actually responsible for 5 schools rather than just one school. And they're in different parts of the city that we're part of, about half an hour away, primary as well as secondary. And I have an executive role as principal to look at the teaching, the learning and the outcomes of those schools. Very, very tough job at times.
But the education in both our countries, it's well developed and available for most of us. Why do we still need pioneers in development in education?
I think that is true. But I think the first point I would make is that we want to share the passion and the love for learning. And that is important, to not assume that we've arrived, that we have all of the knowledge, all of the skills that we need. And if we are to do that and to actually make what we bring to our students relevant, I think we have to show them that we ourselves as leaders, as administrators, are willing to learn and develop our own skills and our levels of learning. And so it's not a matter of we've arrived and therefore we can just sit back. I think it's a matter of challenging ourselves and exploring further aspects of what we do. So what we do is as important as how we do it, and how we do things 5 years ago compared to what the research might tell us now, I think is important. And in fact, your school is a prime example of that. Founded a few years ago with the view of using technology in a very creative way, in a very dynamic way. And you might argue and say, well, why do we need to go to school to be able to be creative? Part of the creativity is the way in which people come together, are able to focus their energies on a particular topic or theme and spark ideas off from each other. That way of learning is as important as it was 10 years ago to go to a lecture and receive knowledge from someone. I think it is important that our systems should evolve, should develop, should be more dynamic and more creative.
Yeah, but you talk about making educating new leaders. Why do we need so many new leaders? Don't we need more followers?
Not necessarily, because I think at times we all play different roles. And at times it may be that we step up to lead because I have the confidence, the knowledge, the skill, the adaptability for that particular challenge. The next challenge that might arise, I may play a much more follower role rather than a leading role, because somebody else has the greater knowledge, insight and ability to be able to perform well for that particular task. So I think what we need is to embrace what leadership is about, apply that to ourselves, but understand that we are part of a team and that there are times when I am being led and I'm happy for that to happen. And I will find myself at times with the opportunity to lead and also to be comfortable with that. So leadership, I think, is a dynamic continuum. It's not one thing or the other. You're not a leader or a follower. You can have a movement on that scale from time to time of being part of a team, contributing to the team, sometimes leading the team.
You said in your presentation that leadership is about helping little people make differences. But isn't it the leaders that make the differences?
Not at all. I think that that's about being arrogant, that I've arrived, I have all the answers, and I know what the future is. The future is for the little people. It's for you and your generation. And if I've done a good job, that is to give you the confidence, the knowledge and the skill to go on and achieve more than I have achieved. And that's what I want for my children, never mind for the young students that I'm responsible for. And the quote was not mine. The quote came from a student who says it is about owning that. And for little people to have big ideas, it's good, it's empowering to think that your generation, the next generation, always has something that they themselves can contribute towards. And it's a feeling of empowerment. It's not looking to the adults. It's not looking to an older generation to have all the answers. We can learn and we can bring something forward as little people, because at some point you little people are going to be big, important people.
Thank you so much for coming here today.